Hi, my name is Kirsten Hodgson and I'm a founding member of Kildare Art Collective. The seeds of Kildare Art Collective were first sown in 2016 with a group of creatives, like-minded friends, artists who got together looking for a space or just the idea of being able to create work and display around the town. Originally it was going to be Newbridge and then maybe further afield. The highs of being in college, of being surrounded by like-minded people, by incredible tutors, your peers that you're in college with, that you can have conversations with, the equipment that you get to use to create this work, the seminars that you have, the critiques, that once you don't have that anymore, you really miss that. So being involved with a creative group of people is really, really important, just to help us build as artists. It is really important being around fellow creatives. In June 2018, fellow member Stephen Kennelly, who's festival director of Junefest, was really pushing for more art within the Junefest community in Newbridge, and a fellow member got in touch with Tracy Developments, who very kindly lent us the old lifestyle building, which is up the road in Newbridge. Now, when we walked in there, it was an absolutely enormous empty space and we were overwhelmed, but with everybody working together, it just became this incredible exhibition with so many different media, so much diverse media of art in there. The opening night was way beyond what we thought it would be. It was just incredible with live music. A lot of the town came out, faces we hadn't seen for a long while, and the response and reaction we got from the public was just incredible, which really gave us a buzz to really push this, to make it happen again. Now that exhibition ran for the whole of the month of June, and during that we had workshops. So we had ceramics workshops, we had felting, we had jewellery making, drawing, a brilliant camera obscura, and it just felt right to really push on and continue after that success, because it was brilliant.
Hi, I'm Michelle McBride, one of the founder members of Kildare Art Collective. Following the success and the buzz around our first event for Junefest, we decided to form as an official collective, and really we just carried on from there. We applied for funding for Culture Night, where we had a smaller scale exhibition and a week-long pop-up studio open to the public in a space kindly provided to us by Whitewater Shopping Centre in Newbridge. For Junefest 2019, that saw our first gallery exhibition in the Makeda Gallery, Riverbank Arts Centre in Newbridge. The Boundaries exhibition featured work of 16 artists from the collective, and it felt like a marker in time in the lifetime of our collective. We've continued to host events for Junefest each year, as well as for Culture Night. As such, the collective has formed primarily around these events. The core group remained fairly consistent, with other members dropping in and out for various events. We have over 35 members working in diverse materials, from bog oak to photography, painting, sculpture, textiles and metals. All addressing different themes and concepts, and all very enthusiastic about progressing further as an established collective. A major benefit of function within the collective is the sense of purpose. The work, rather than being created in a vacuum, becomes more purposeful, and you are forced to put your best foot forward. This acceptance of your work imparts a sense of belonging, and that acceptance leads to confidence in yourself as an artist and a belief in the work that you're creating. The physical presence of work exhibited in the town has sparked many interesting conversations with members of the public who visited an exhibition or got in touch to make inquiries. We established the collective to engage with local artists and create a network. Our goal was to bring to the forefront the talent in this town, so that people were not alone in their bedrooms making work, but now had opportunities to exhibit and discuss their work, as well as engaging with other artists in the locality. The opportunity to discuss the work and receive feedback is invaluable and motivating. Different perspectives offer new insights and possible alternative routes to your work. There's little room for ego or paralysing nerves within a group show. If you were to drag your heels on the work or the admin around the work, you're letting other members of the collective down by not giving 100%, as the work reflects on all of us. Ideally, the collective dream is to have freedom to arrange our own events on a regular basis, to host workshops and demonstrations, to invite artists to come and speak or show their work. The scope of what could be achieved with this freedom is endless.
Hi, my name is Stephen Kennelly. I'm the Festival Director of Junefest and I'm a founding member of the Kildare Art Collective. The idea for art feeds came about long before we were in lockdown or before we even knew what COVID was. It was an idea that we discussed in the early days of setting up the collective, and we did think at the time it was a massive project to take on, but the original title was Art Feeds Art, a phrase that came to mind when trying to describe the inspiration that you get from those around you. Kildare Art Collective aims to support local artists, but we also want to create opportunities to engage with the wider community. The idea of a collaborative project gave us a chance to reach out to other creatives in Kildare. There is an abundance of talent locally outside of the visual arts world. We have poets and musicians and writers and dancers and craft makers, and the list goes on. Once we realised that our initial plans for Junefest and Culture Night weren't going to go ahead how we had initially hoped, we looked back to this idea of the collaborative project and felt that this was the perfect opportunity to launch it. A lot of people were going to be stuck at home, a lot of people were nervous, they were anxious, and we felt that this project would give them an opportunity to feel more engaged and connected with people around them. It has been a very strange time, it's been a very difficult time for a lot of people. It can have serious effects on your mental health. We did purposefully launch this project at the start of lockdown because we noticed fairly quickly, even amongst ourselves, that we weren't able to communicate in the usual ways that we were used to, and this project created an opportunity for people to find new ways of staying connected with each other. We made a huge effort with the members of the collective to get them as many as possible involved, as we felt it was important that we come together during this tough time and support one another. We went to extreme lengths, I suppose, when it came to trying to establish the collaborations in the first place. We also wanted everybody to have an opportunity to get their voice heard. We put a lot of hours into filming interviews, some of which were in person, wherever was possible, and some were online and video chats and Zoom calls. For people that couldn't make it into the riverbank to see the actual show. So it was great to be able to connect with everyone, even though it may not have been in person or as a group as a whole. It was important that we had fun in this project. We always tried to have as much of a laugh as possible. It's very easy to get bogged down in the work and forget why you're doing it in the first place. We had a great moment with our photo call. We were lucky that Eamon Farrell got involved from Rolling News, and we got a couple of the participants of the project to get into river with some of the artwork. He had us running up and down the town and throwing leaves around the place, but it was great to be able to meet a lot of participants in person, which was something I didn't expect, and I'm very grateful that we got the opportunity to do that.
Hi, my name is Kiva McGuckin and I am a founding member of Kildare Art Collective. Myself and my family have been cocooning since early March, so essentially we are still in our own little lockdown. So as such, we haven't seen friends or family from outside our household during that time, and it's easy to just stop communicating altogether when you feel a bit out of the loop like that. So I have found organising the Art Feeds project really beneficial in that it was a purposeful reason to participate in some project and communicate with other people. Also having the group, the collective to work for is a very motivating factor. You can't drag your heels when there's that many people involved. So you have to get the work done, which is great. During a stressful time for everyone, our chats and our update meetings were always just, I look forward to them every week, you know. They're just light-hearted and good fun, and we got the work done, but enjoyed ourselves doing it. I attended 99% of our meetings from this spot here, the driver's seat of my car. I spent lockdown on Valentia Island, just off the coast of Kerry, and I spent many an evening traipsing around the island trying to find a spot with good signal where I could join the Zoom meeting. And then when I returned to Naas, it was actually worse because we had moved house recently, and the place we live is a bit of a black spot signal-wise. So yeah, I've become very comfortable living in the front seat of my car over the last number of months. Working on the brief from Stephen's original concept was also good fun and really interesting and oddly comforting, you know, hearing the commonalities across the board, people's experiences of lockdown and the emotions was actually really comforting. We provided a list of prompts for people just to kickstart the work, words and phrases, things like a room of one's own or a month of Sundays, or transmit, just words which people found really beneficial, you know. We also gave people the opportunity to choose their own collaboration partner, but if they preferred, we could arrange that for them too. And we encouraged alternative methods of communication. Thought it was a great opportunity to kind of just think outside the box in that respect. It was a lovely surprise to receive so many positive responses, how receptive people were to the call out. I mean, within minutes of the call out, we were having like tons of messages back from people who were delighted to hear that it was going to happen, you know. We knew there'd be good interest. I mean, we figured the four of us were giddy about it, so we figured there'd be a good uptake, you know, but we really didn't expect the response we got. It's been fantastic, like from start to finish, it's been great. It was a distraction for people as well as a focus. It helped people to process through their feelings or what was going on around them, and it was a purposeful way of filling time at a time when people didn't best know how to be spending their time, you know. So I think it was the perfect project for that particular time. I enjoyed the positive feedback and the communication, hearing how people were getting on with the project and looking forward to seeing what they would come up with, you know. I love that side of things. Overall, I found it to be a really rewarding experience, and I'm really glad and grateful to have been a part of it.
Anyone from the group would have been perfect to work with. We would have put our heads together, and eventually I was speaking to my brother, who's very creative, fantastic, filming documentaries, music videos. We've worked before in collaborations, and it happened. It happened. We gelled together really easy because we had some experience. He had the finest of recording machines, and we had the same vision for the piece. It worked together. There wasn't a single argument, there wasn't a single bad word. It just happened about making this piece of work local within a 5-kilometre radius at the time when we started. We gelled together well.
We didn't have to distance ourselves from each other because we know each other very well. Collaborating not from a distance, was quite difficult. I almost feel like if we'd had like this allotted time that a lot of people had of an hour a week where we had to get stuff done, that it might have made it a bit easier, but again, I'm not really sure.
I'm very hands-on, physical, make it first, and Michelle is very conceptual.
I wasn't sure who to collaborate with. I had an idea of maybe working with my sister, she's an artist as well. Also my partner, he's a sculptor. But then it was suggested to me to work with Annie Morris, who is a fine wordsmith, brilliant poet. And it's worked really, really well, just the way we've bounced, our words have bounced with each other, or her words I've read into her words. Yeah, it's been great.
I need structure, I need schedules, I need to be able to plan ahead, otherwise I don't do a lot of work. So to be able to put aside a couple hours a week, whether it was the Zoom or phone call or text, whatever it may have been, it kept the flow of the work going, and I quite enjoyed that aspect of it because it was nice to progress as the weeks went on throughout lockdown.
I found the project to be quite therapeutic in that it was a lovely distraction. In some ways, you know, you're still aware and obviously you're still thinking about COVID and all that's going on, but it was a nice way of processing it. It was a nice move on. You weren't just sitting there stagnant thinking or worrying, you know, that kind of way. It was purposeful. So yeah, I found that really enjoyable. I still do, kind of working around the edges of it. Yeah, definitely.
We didn't really know each other very well at all. And it was just wonderful to have this regular Friday date with Kirsten on the phone to discuss what we'd done, which was usually not much. But then all of a sudden you'd have a really productive chat and you'd spend an hour discussing what you'd done that week. And I think the pairing up of artists together has been the most brilliant thing about this, because it's been the one regular thing in an elastic period of time where dates and numbers all merge into one. But that one date, that Friday afternoon with Kirsten, was fantastic. It was an anchor in the week.
So for this project, Art Feeds, I collaborated with poet Ingrid Casey, and she lives in the same town as me, and I know her through my children. She has children similar age as me, and I was very lucky to meet somebody through my kids who's like-minded and artistic, and she's a painter and a poet. So it made a lot of sense for us to work together. We haven't done anything together before, so it was really a great opportunity to work with somebody I know, especially at the time when we weren't able to see each other. It was nice to keep in touch that way. So yeah, it made sense to work with her.
It was very easy in some ways. So I sent an image originally to Fabiana of a piece of work that I had started, which was around kind of lockdown and being isolated in some ways. And then she did a piece of movement, and she then sent me that piece, so she videoed herself, and then I worked more on the painting, so that kind of came together really nicely. Then the second piece, Fabiana sent me a movement that she did in her kitchen, so I then worked on a piece following that, and again she sent a third piece in a park, and then that's how the third piece emerged, which is on a piece of wood and painted green because she was in a park, and it was just the different movements that she did in that park that I printed out and then pasted onto the piece of wood.
I actually had the vision of what I made in my head for like a year, and I didn't know how I was going to like put it together. I just had the vision of the painting itself in my mind, so I'm kind of happy that I was able to have the opportunity to kind of combine with somebody else and actually bring it to life, and so I'm really proud of that, I think.
We actually worked best when we did have the opportunity to sit across the table from each other, but while for the initial couple of weeks and months we were posting each other pieces, so we would get a parcel in the post every couple of weeks, and I reacted really differently to what Julie was creating when I saw it in real life compared to when I saw photographs, because Julie primarily worked in crochet, so she created granny square blankets. That was her response to the pandemic and to lockdown, was to create granny square blankets, and these in photograph they're very dramatic. There's almost an element of stained glass around them, and the colours are really strong. You've got the strong outlines, the strong colours, really, it's almost a graphic thing. But in reality, when you hold them in your hands, they're very soft and comforting, And it was that idea of comfort and softness and reaching for elements that we could find comfort in that really was what spoke to both of us.
What came as a surprise in the very beginning during the collaboration was how positive it felt, even though there was a distance and we couldn't actually physically meet and discuss the work. I was quite inspired by the conversations that we had. It was something that I would certainly love to do again and to explore again. And that was something that I wasn't expecting. So I was really, pleasantly surprised about that. And the other thing that came out of the work was how much my own work had changed from the last series of pieces that I made. So, I was quite happy with the direction that the work took.
Hello there. My name is Alex Rojak and I am the Acting Venue Director at Riverbank Art Centre in Newbridge. As you might see in the background, I'm in our visual arts gallery, the McKenna Gallery, among the fantastic artwork by the Kildare Art Collective. We are thrilled to present this exhibition entitled Art Feeds in our gallery, and considering the times we found ourselves in, I think it is really heartening and simply brilliant to see artists creating work, collaborating and exhibiting. Art Feeds started as an exercise in communication during lockdown, where artists from the collective were invited to collaborate and to communicate using alternative methods. The works that we see in the gallery are the result of that communication. And I think there is nothing more optimistic than to realize that our capacity to communicate, to create together, cannot be hindered or silenced, no matter the circumstances. The exhibition is running until October 24th, and you can see it and experience it on our online platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and on our website, riverbank.ie. So click on those links, enjoy it, share it, and support the artist any way you can. Without further ado, I declare the exhibition Art Feeds by Kildare Art Collective open.
We would like to thank the Riverbank Art Centre, Kildare County Council Art Service, Culture Night Kildare, June Fest, Eamon Farrell of Rolling News, all of our members of Kildare Art Collective and their fellow collaborators, and to every person who supported us on this journey, we thank you.